These days, Muslims all across the world are looking to find other ambitious, purpose-driven, and intelligent brothers and sisters to surround themselves with. Alhamdulillah, we got to spend 5 days in Qatar at the Globally Empowered Muslim Summit. And today, we get to sit down with Sheikh Navaid to unpack everything that we saw and experienced and bring you guys that information to show you that there's Muslims out there doing really exciting and interesting things all across the globe. We get to ask him questions about what it means to be an ambitious Muslim, how to find our purpose, and what it really is that we should be doing out there to help ourselves, improve ourselves, and elevate our community and ummah. Stay tuned and enjoy the episode with myself, Sheikh Navaid, and my good friend Suhaib. If you could task the youth of today with filling one strategic gap for the ummah, what's the most urgent vacuum we need to address?
Wealth accompanied by piety. I think that is going to be the biggest game changer.
A sign that you are going to Jannah is that you taste a piece of it on earth. And a sign that you will never see Jannah is if you've never experienced peace or serenity on earth.
Yeah, so it's a statement by Ibn Taymiyyah. He says, إِنَّ فِي الدُّنْيَا جَنَّةً مَنْ لَمْ يَدْخُلْهَا لَا يَدْخُلُ جَنَّةَ الْآخِرَةِ. That indeed in this earth is a paradise. Whoever doesn't enter the paradise of this world will not enter the paradise of the hereafter.
And he said something profound. He said, have kids when you're finished with the illusion of what you think life is about. This is one I resonate with personally and that I struggled with, and it stopped me from doing a lot of khair and good. How do we distinguish between a healthy ambition intended to empower the ummah and spread khair, and ego-driven ambition that seeks personal status or personal gain?
Let's start with this. How do you feel when other people are praised? If you get upset at that point, then you're ego-driven and not deen-driven, right? Number two, how likely are you to help someone? Are you likely to help them if they're in the same field and industry? Or you're like, no, this is like IP. I can't share my recipes and secrets with you. And then number three, like, how do you personally use it?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our very first podcast. I'm here with the beloved Sheikh Navaid Aziz, known worldwide, mashallah, and our local imam over here in Calgary, and one of my good friends, Suhaib. So this is the first podcast. I wanted to bring these wonderful gentlemen together because we were blessed to spend an entire week in Qatar at the GEM Summit. This was a one-of-a-kind conference put on by Yaqeen, and it stands for Global Empowered Muslim. So I brought these boys here today to kind of give us a little summary and a bit of a recap of what we went through and spent doing the past week, and to show you guys what cool, interesting, groundbreaking things are happening in the Muslim community and space. So we could start with just a little summary of how you guys found the trip. Welcome back, Sheikh Navaid.
Sure.
Thanks for joining us after traveling all over the world, mashallah.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So I think one thing to highlight is it was Yaqeen in collaboration with Launch Good, Sharq Youth Forum, and Omatics. So it was like four organizations that came together to put it on. I was quite busy, like in meetings and stuff, so I only got to attend like 3 sessions that were there. But I thought it was amazing, like the caliber of people that were there, the topics that were discussed, the whole vibe of like the ummah working together and heading in a direction together, for me was absolutely amazing. Yeah.
And how did you guys each find out about it?
So Yaqeen being involved in it, like we got a staff notice very early on, and that's how I knew about it.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
And Sheikh Navaid is managing
the Yaqeen Endowment in Canada and internationally. Yeah.
Allahumma barik. So how did you find out about this?
I mean, I found about it through Chris's podcast on the Thinking Muslim, and then through Launch Good, that was the GMW network, which was one of the partners.
Yeah.
Found out about that, told you. We flew out the following week.
That was it.
Man, that's crazy. So you guys applied and got in a week?
He applied a little bit earlier, even though I told him earlier. I applied later, even though I'm the one that told him about it. And I got in within a week of the thing happening, or like December 31st, and then we flew out.
Gotcha.
So he told me in a random conversation back when I was trying to plan this last 1 month trip.
Okay.
And I applied, said Bismillah, and once I got in, then spoke to you about it.
Right.
You pushed me to go.
Right.
I didn't want to go because I'm like, it's a bit pricey, but you're like, trust me, the experience will be priceless. And Allahumma barak, I think it was.
You think it was? Okay.
I know
I think
it
that's
was.
where the conversation needs to start, right? Because you were iffy about it. Now let's start off with your thoughts. And this is your podcast as well.
Yeah.
So I think they want to hear from you.
Me still somewhat being a forever student, I thought it was a little pricey to pay for the ticket and then to fly out and then get a hotel for what I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Yeah. But Sheikh Navaid gave me some inspiring stories from his past conference experiences and summits, and just being in the right place, the right time with the right people. Yeah. Allahu a'lam. You don't know if a career will come out of that or this opportunity or whatever else?
So I think, just for full disclosure, there was an early bird price which was $3.99, and I think that ended like a month and a half before the conference, and then the full price was $5.99, and that's in USD as well. That's not even Canadian. Then on top of that, you have to pay for a plane ticket, which, if you're lucky, it will be just around like 1,600 as well. And then the hotel, if I'm not mistaken, was like $850. Was it? I can't remember.
Yeah, we paid about a grand split between us.
Yeah. So it was like $850 USD. So yeah, that's about it. So those are the expenses that you're looking at. So you're looking at a hefty investment altogether. So you have to be able to get something out of it that hopefully makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, and I think one thing is you have to go with some value or some skill set that you are able to provide others, and inshallah hope to get something back from.
Exactly. Like they have several, like, I guess, tracks that you could go through, like education and then finance and then health and then technology. So as long as you fit in somewhere, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask you guys, this is the question I'm looking forward to the most, but who was the most interesting person you ran into, or the most interesting business?
You know what was really amazing for me? Inshallah. You know what really stuck out for me is, often when we think of money, we often think of North Americans as the rich ones. But because I was there doing donor engagement and meeting other donors, I was really surprised at how much money there is in Africa. Like multi-millionaires, to the verge of some of them may have been billionaires. I was just shocked. Like, I don't think I've ever met a North American Muslim billionaire before. But to see an African Muslim billionaire, I was just shocked, right? Like, they own like the rights to like all the tires in Africa, or like all the bottles in Africa. Like, exactly. But it's like the whole entire industry is like owned by them. So it's like really wild and crazy like that, subhanAllah. So for me, that was really fascinating. They were probably the most fascinating people I met. Yeah.
Yeah, we would have never run into those guys. Or you don't even know what you don't know, right? You might be sitting next to them for the whole weekend.
And that's the thing, but like they never flaunt it. Like, you would never be able to tell. You'd like, yeah, this is probably some accountant, but mashallah, tabarakallah, you know, they run the whole industry and the whole continent.
It's inspiring to see that.
Oh, 100%.
Those people are out there and they're more humble than
all of us.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, Barak. So you ran into some cool people. You got to have a dinner right across from.
Yeah, I think that was probably the biggest person was probably Chris Blaveld from LaunchGood. We was able to have dinner. The biggest thing kind of take away from him and everything that they're doing is that they found kind of like a hole with like the ambitious, righteous Muslimin all across the globe. And instead of just kind of like, oh, we have an idea about this, or like complaining or whatever, they kind of just went out and just held one of like a massive conference, really like big names, 750 people all around the world, you know, billionaires were straight up there. I think that was one of the biggest things, like just be high agency, whatever idea you have, just go out there, create the spaces, do the things that you need to do in order for you to, of course, like, you know, better the ummah and everything. And at the end of the day, as long as you're doing it, of course, purpose aligned, because, you know, you have one life, might as well make it big and might as well make it raising your ranks within Jannah. And I think that was kind of like the biggest thing for me, especially at the precipice of like which careers and everything to go into. I think that was kind of the biggest thing for me. And yourself?
So one funny story about Chris. I didn't know who was before the event, but Suhaib knew, and he's like, I hope I get to sit with him and meet him. And then on the very last day, during our closing dinner, we had it on the roof, we told my friend to save us a seat. We get to the table, there's no one there. So we sit down, and then who walks in? Chris. Sits right across from us.
Amazing.
And he was a couple seats down from Suhaib, but then 10 minutes later, the guy sitting across from him was like, hey, I want to sit next to the guy you're sitting beside and network with him, because he was a film director. So then they swapped spots, and he got his...
Was that from Canada? Or was that someone else?
That was No Mustafa, who was a film director. He wanted to talk to the other really tall guy. He used to be a pro basketball player.
Oh, pro basketball player? I'm not sure about. But Abu Bakr also does film, so I thought it might...
Long hair?
Yeah.
I think it's him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it worked out. Everyone got the one, alhamdulillah. The coolest guy I ran into... It was a cool moment for me that stuck in my head, but it was one of the executive directors for Qalam, which is a really big Islamic institute in the States, if you guys don't know, big curriculum. We were sitting after Sheikh Umar Sulaiman's khutbah at the Education City Mosque, and we were just chatting, and I was asking him a question. I'm like, Sheikh, I'm not married yet, but to get into the mentality, I'm like, what is a good time to have kids? What's the right mentality to have? Because I've heard people say, have kids when you're done enjoying your life.
Which
as a joke.
Could almost be never, but sure.
Yeah, as a joke, but they actually say have kids when you're done seeking those adventures and done focusing on yourself. You're ready to give. And I asked him, like, what's your thoughts? and he said something profound. He said, have kids when you're finished with the illusion of what you think life is about and the purpose of your life. And when you want to uncover the real purpose of your life and what it means to really live, that's when you should have kids. I looked at him, I'm like, I was not.
So do you remember who this
ready
was?
for that.
Who?
This was
Ashik. Yeah.
Ashik.
MashaAllah. Good guy. Yeah.
This was Ashik. Yeah, so he just dropped that on me, and then I'm like, I wasn't ready for that. I was just hoping for like a number.
Got you. He's like, yeah, when I turned 30, yeah.
Yeah, he was cool, mashallah. Did well in business and in Qalam and kind of.
Yeah, he's
those are the
actually
people that-
directing Qalam's business development right now, if I'm not mistaken. And he's launching like his own leadership development courses and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why we connected. It was because of the leadership. Him and his
Gotcha.
partner, and I told him about the nonprofit I want to do and help with leadership and whatnot.
Yeah.
What is the idea, if you want to share it, that you were talking, that you had, like the whole point of you coming, is to build out what?
Qalbayn, essentially what we're doing is, it's a Muslim matrimony app for the righteous and the ambitious of the Muslimin. So essentially what we're doing is gathering people of like-minded values. So essentially spirituality, lifelong learning, wealth development, and health. And then from that, building those kind of communities. So think of like the GEM Summit. We brought all these people with different values into one spot. How do we then make mini GEM communities all across the globe? So like for instance in Calgary, let's bring these people, let's bring these builders, find the local people within you, build them up, empower them to then go out into their communities, and then go around to all these different cities, building the exact same thing, and then connecting them all digitally once again. So kind of like a layer 2 on top of GEM Summit. That's kind of my idea. That I came up
Layer 2.
Code.
No, I like not only code, it's like crypto language,
Yeah,
right?
fair.
I've
A
heard
layer
that.
on top of GEM.
that
A
word
layer on top
somewhere.
of GEM. There we go.
Got you. Okay, alhamdulillah.
And that's kind of what I came with.
So would you guys go back next year? And what would you hope to see? What would be really cool if they did?
So again, I was there in an employment thing, and I loved it. I wish I had more time to myself to do like the fun stuff that you guys did, right?
The masjid hopping and the ATV tours. And
I mean, not only that, but just talking to people, right? Like without a goal. Like my goal to talk to people was like, hey, you know, how much can you donate and stuff like that, right? So I would definitely go back. I love these events, right? And I feel like to pick up on something that Sohaib said, you have to have the timing right. And I think people don't realize this, but I don't want to say post-Gaza, but with everything that happened in Gaza, the timing of this event was perfect because everyone's like, look, we really got to work together, really got to focus together. And I think as long as that sense of urgency is there, we're going to have amazing events. But as soon as that sense of urgency dies, then we'll go back to status quo and the events are going to go back to being terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
What's something that they could bring next year where you, as a person that's seen a lot and been around the globe and all that?
So
wow,
I think
impressive.
why don't we speak about the next couple of events that are happening? So July 11th to 13th, they have the Global Content Summit. So if you're a social media influencer or content creator, there's a conference for that happening in Turkey. After that.
What is it, GMC?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the one. Yeah.
I heard about that.
And then right after that is TPSS, the Prophetic Strategy Summit. So they're back to back. They did the same thing last year in Malaysia, and then this year they're doing the same thing in Turkey as well.
So
but they're adding a whole bunch
to
of
GEM and Web Summit, they're gonna do
no,
this.
like the global content and then the global strategy. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So last year was Malaysia. This year they're doing it in Turkey. So I think if you guys are able to attend, if you're interested in content creation or interested in prophetic strategy and leadership, like those are the events to be in July, inshallah.
Interesting. Perfect.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be there?
I will be there, inshallah. Yes.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And how do you stay so
boys trip again.
Of course, obviously you're like obviously employed within the space, but how should like normal people, I guess, kind of stay within that entire loop? Because we barely knew about like GEM Summit until
Yeah.
kind of like randomly stumbling
Yeah.
upon it, and then obviously going, and it was a great experience. But how should we like stay in the loop, and advice for others to stay in that loop?
Yeah, so I think there's two fronts to this. Number one is the social media. So I'm not sure, like, where is your crowd mainly at? Are you guys on LinkedIn? Like, do you guys use LinkedIn?
I think a lot of us are everywhere now. You have to be.
You have to be?
Instagram,
Got you.
TikTok,
So I
LinkedIn.
think LinkedIn is the place to be where there's certain individuals that are leaders in this spaces, people like Chris. Follow them on LinkedIn. They post about these events all the time. And that's how you can find out. And then just subscribe to emailing lists, right? So all of these organizations will have emailing lists. Subscribe to them, inshallah, and you can find out. But the key thing is, look, you guys are still young. I don't know how financially possible it'll be to attend all of these every year. But focus on one, right? And think about, you know what, I want to be committed to something. And then you just keep growing and growing and growing in that space. And ideally, because there's two of you, maybe you guys can like, you know, divide and conquer. So he chooses one, you choose one, and every you guys just share notes or whatever.
Sheikh, If you could task the youth of today with filling one strategic gap for the Ummah, whether in tech, media, governance, health, what's the most urgent vacuum we need to address or have the most potential?
I feel you asked this question at GEM.
Yeah.
Did you get some good answers there?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Alhamdulillah. So I think I have a very biased view in this space already, but it's wealth accompanied by piety. I think that is going to be the biggest game changer. Where we have the money to do whatever we want, but it has to be accompanied by piety such that we don't compromise on our values and ethics. Yeah.
And if you could boil that down, would it be Islamic finance or would it be?
No. This has to be a lot more general. This could be, you start up your own tech company. This could be whatever else you're passionate about, but getting wealthy for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any fields that you see being able to play that path easily? Like, is it tech?
Entrepreneurship, man.
Entrepreneurship.
Yeah, but I think tech entrepreneurship is the way to go.
Cream of the crop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we heard that. We heard education as well. Because almost
Education is
everything
needed.
is a bit of education.
Is needed. Education is definitely needed. But will you get rich off of education? The likelihood of it is very, very minimal, right?
Yeah,
but
I
the
agree.
value you bring is going to be very, very high.
This is one I resonate with personally and that I struggled with, and it stopped me from doing a lot of things I saw as avenues to doing khair and good. And one is making content or social media. But for Muslims in general, especially the youth, how do we distinguish between a healthy ambition intended to empower the ummah and spread khair and ego-driven ambition that seeks personal status or personal gain?
Yeah.
What's a litmus test to see if your intention is good?
I think let's start with this. How do you feel when other people are praised? If it's, you get upset at that point, then you're ego-driven and not deen-driven, right? Because our definition of success is community success and not just individual success. So that'd be the first thing. Number two, how likely are you to help someone? So if someone comes to you for help, are you likely to help them if they're in the same field and industry? Or you're like, no, this is like IP. I can't share my recipes and secrets with you. Then that's like a second indication that you're more self-motivated as opposed to ummah / community motivated. And then number three, like how do you personally use your finances? Is a lot of it just spent on yourself, or are you willing to spend on good causes and to support, other ummatic needs? Yeah.
Ummatic needs. So finances, see where your money is going.
Yeah.
Objectively.
Your time. See where your time is going. Are you willing to give time to other people?
So your time is going. And if you'd help someone, if
That's
there's
in the
nothing
sense
to gain, if there's nothing to gain
Exactly.
in return.
Yeah, exactly. You're literally just there to help them for their sake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then how do you feel when other people are praised?
And how do you feel when others are praised?
Yeah.
And is that like celebrities or like if someone comes up to Sohaib and says, hey, I like your sweater, you're best?
No, not like that. It's like, Sohaib's at like, let's just say Gem Summit, and they're talking about Muzmatch.
Yeah.
Just Sohaib support Muzmatch, or he's like, these guys are my competition, I got to take them down, right?
Okay, like the abundance versus scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
This guy your competition, or because he's Muslim, is he gonna be the one to support you? He
Exactly.
elevates, I elevate the whole Ummah community.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was well said.
Yeah, I think it like touches upon like the muhasabah muraqabah. It's like see where your actions dictate your values. So kind of just see how you've been acting, and then from that you'll be able to see the values. And that's obviously a lot of the litmus test that Sheikh gave. Yeah. It's like see when you spend or how you spend and the mindset in which you're doing so, and then obviously that will be able to give you a pretty good litmus test. And the other thing I think as well is Sheikh Yasir Qadi in his like final speech where he was like with leadership. The last one is like the cause is more important than the person. So your cause should be something that is going to be continued afterwards. So it doesn't like just stop with you. And I think is like a very important one is like when Abu Bakr, after the Prophet ﷺ passed away, Abu Bakr said, if you worship Muhammad, well, no, Muhammad is gone. But the deen of Rasulullah ﷺ, the deen of Islam, that will never die. And that's kind of what continues as well.
Allahu Akbar. One cool phenomenon, you probably know this from your education background, but your perspective of the world, the bigger the issues you're trying to solve and the more impact you're trying to have, those are equal to the problems that you think about and you face in your life. So the smaller your problems that you're focusing on, this guy made my coffee wrong, I don't have money, then you're only focused on yourself. If you're focused about my brothers and sisters are starving in Gaza or in Sudan or anywhere else in the Ummah, you're focused on a global issue, your minor daily inconveniences aren't going to affect you as much. 100%. So it's what people are you focused on, that's going to be your sphere of influence and your sphere of thought. The bigger you focus, the more impact. If someone is born just a very chill laid back person, like a koala, should they try to have high ambitions? Should they feel guilty for just being okay to go with the flow and shoot to just be an average normal person? From an Islamic perspective, is it wajib on us to have high ambitions?
So I'll frame this from like, imagine you're doing a test. What happens when you constantly just strive for 60, right? There's a chance you may get that 60, but likelihood you're remaining below 60, right? You aim for 90, you might not get it all the time, but at least you're getting above 60, right? So that's the example that I'll give over here, that yeah, there's nothing wrong technically with aiming for 60, but the likelihood of you keeping hitting 60 consecutively is not very high. So aim for higher than 60, and inshallah, at least you'll remain in the green, as they say. But what I will say is, I don't think the challenge is ambition. The challenge is, what should my ambition be? And I think that'll probably be your last question, right?
Yeah.
Like, people they want to help the ummah, they just don't know how, right? People are enraged with everything that's happening in the world, but they just don't know what to do. And oftentimes when you offer simplistic answers, people are like, yeah, I still want to do more. Like, you tell them, pray 5 times a day, give your zakat, make sure you're doing all your religious obligations. That has to be the starting point. Like, you can't jump to point B if you haven't done point A yet. So start with point A, and then ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide you to what your point B should look like. Like, oh Allah, where do I best serve the ummah? Guide me to that and make it easy for me. And that's your conversation with Allah, and then see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides you to.
So there's no one answer fits all. See
Never.
your skill set, make sure you're being a good Muslim to start.
Yes.
Pray your 5 prayers, donate, do the wajib and obligatory.
Yes. Yeah. Do you think there's a cookie cutter answer? Like, is there something that everyone should do or can do?
I agree with the premise that you should make sure you're in check before starting to give out and starting to pour out for others. But I think community service is a cookie cutter answer I could give.
Right.
Where almost doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but it's hard to be locked in a room working on anything if you're not in the community, getting feedback, figuring out the issues on the ground level.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, at least in medicine and health, in my field, you're studying in a room by yourself for 8 hours, 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
You're very competitive. All you have to do is check off a box of high GPA, shadowing hours, so on and so forth, and you'll likely get into the school. You might be a bit antisocial at that point and not really able to connect or help with people. Yeah. But I don't think that's the proper way. I think it's being holistic and constantly being in the community.
Yeah.
Volunteering, events.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of just touching upon that, you're just saying, instead of like the community service, it's kind of just like being inside the arena. So like whatever you choose to do, just actually do it within real life. Like actually go outside of the theory and actually go into action and like trying to create something as well. And then just kind of with the ambition point as well, is like you only have one life, again, because I kind of said this point earlier, but
YOLO.
Yeah, essentially.
Like, but YOLO for the right reasons.
Yeah, it's like
YOLO
go far out
reasons.
with everything that you can do. Like, why just aim for the first level of Jannah? Aim for the highest.
Of course.
Right? Again, it's only one life. You can go all out. And the best thing with the religion as well is once you reach those higher levels, the sweetness of Iman is like amazing. Your life is better. And then your akhirah is also better. So everything is just like maximalized. Versus if you're just going for like hedonism, your life deteriorates very fast, as well as your akhirah is gone. So it's a lose-lose. In this one, it's a win-win. And obviously, it all just starts from kind of like that self-mastery of self, the salah, the tahajjud, the dua, the Quran. Really start there, and Allah opens doors. Right?
Allahu
Fattah,
Akbar.
right?
Allahu Akbar.
Sheikh, maybe you could comment on this. I heard a statement, might have been from a scholar. I don't think it was a hadith, but a sign that you are going to Jannah is that you taste a piece of it on earth. And a sign that you will never see Jannah is if you've never experienced peace or serenity on earth.
Yeah, so it's a statement by Ibn Taymiyyah. He says, إِنَّ فِي الدُّنْيَا جَنَّةً مَنْ لَمْ يَدْخُلْهَا لَا يَدْخُلُ جَنَّةَ الْآخِرَةِ. That indeed in this earth is a paradise. Whoever doesn't enter the paradise of this world will not enter the paradise of the hereafter. But that's exactly what Sahib was speaking about, where you taste the sweetness of Iman. That if you don't taste the sweetness of Iman in this life, the likelihood of you entering Jannah in the next life is very minimal. Yeah.
Like encyclopedia. That was quick.
Yeah, no worries. See, that's my problem. Like, I'm very minimalistic in speech. Like, I don't know how to
It's a
waffle.
prophetic character.
No, but it's something you just strive for. But oftentimes in a situation where I need to prolong speech and I just can't. They're like, you have a 35-minute lecture. I'm like, I have 5 minutes of content. Will you handle that?
I know. Especially with making content, it's like people like when I call it just yapping. I just want to hear you yap. And I'm like,
no,
I got places to be and things to do. I can't talk about my bowl of pho for next 6 minutes.
Exactly. So you're starting a new chapter of your life now, inshallah?
Inshallah.
You ready for that?
In 6 hours now.
6 hours.
I'll be
بالتوفيق
flying
inshallah.
to the other side of the world, to New Zealand, inshallah, to start dental school there. And then
Inshallah.
hopefully trying to keep as much as I can involved in projects like this, flying different places, trying to connect with the ummah and see what interesting people are up to and they're doing.
Inshallah.
I don't know if you remember from Toronto, I was back every month or two.
Yeah.
This time
it's gonna be a bit harder.
It's gonna be
Like,
bigger.
You got to fly to like Vancouver and then Vancouver to here, right? It's
Like
not even direct.
$2,500, 24 hours.
Oh.
So I'm gonna try to build out stuff in Australia and that side of the world.
Inshallah. Yeah, بالتوفيق.
If you're down,
Whenever I'm down, for sure. Bismillah,
You
I'll
have
check
to.
you out. I will. Like I've only been to New Zealand twice now.
Barakallah fiqh, Sheikh.
الله فيكم بارك الله.
Thank you so much.
حبيبي.
I love this. I love the experience. We got to go travel together, come back, do a recap.
Inshallah we got